Hello, this is Akiko Sudano. Welcome. Let me get myself set up here for a second. Good. I'm still not seeing myself that I'm in the right place yet. Hold on. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. Hi. Hi, Karen. Thank you for joining me. This is Akiko Sudano, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. And my little business is called StampinInTheMeadows.com. So thank you very much for joining me this afternoon, and I hope that you enjoy the little card that we're going to make today. I'm using the beautiful Celebrate Sunflowers. Hi, Amy. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm using the pretty Celebrate Sunflowers stamp and die set, and today's card is going to be using a lot of, is being made with a lot of die cutting and stuff, and I've already prepared a lot of things. And so this is the card that we're going to be making. This is just such, I think this is the best sunflower stamp and die set that I've seen. One of the things that I tried to do afterwards was and I'm not quite happy with the way it came out, is that little center thing. I tried to make use the shimmery crystal effects to make little dots on it, and you can see it's kind of messy, so I think I need a little bit more practice with making little dots with those that shimmery crystal effects. But this was carried over from the holiday catalog, and you don't forget about that, because that's a pretty little accessory to add a little bit of something special to a card. I would recommend you practice a little bit more before you try to make little dots on this. I think one of the things that happens is you try to put it in there, and then it makes a little peak, and then if it doesn't fall right on top of itself and it falls over, it gets kind of messy. I don't know if you can see that, but there's another option, and that's what we're going to be doing with the card today. But this is so pretty. And then the other thing that I use here is that Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper, which is just gorgeous. I thought I was going to miss the other floral designer series paper from the other mini catalog, but this one is just as pretty. So I think that you're going to like that as well. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to do a little bit of stamping. And first thing I'm going to do is, this is a piece of Bumblebee, the new in color Bumblebee cardstock, and I'm using Bumblebee ink, and this is that big old gorgeous sunflower, and I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp that, and then we'll die cut it. But let's get it stamped up nice and juicy, and it's going to be a little bit hard to see behind the Bumblebee die cut outline, but it's still pretty. It's nice to have a little bit of texture, a little bit of something extra behind the die cut. So stamp it down. There, that's pretty good. And so this one, there's some I guess flower petals that kind of go up in towards the middle, and I always just think of that as the bottom of the flower. So that's over here. And I'm going to, then the next thing I'm going to do is, I didn't show you the inside of the card. I have a little sunflower stamped up here and down here. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp those, and before I die cut this guy. And I'll find my Whisper White. It's on the inside, of course. My Whisper White panel that's cut to 4 by 5 1/4. And I will stamp it down here and then up here. And this is my bottom, so I want to hold it like this. And this is going to stamp off the, oh, you know, the other thing too is I stamped this off twice. So this is the third stamping. So that Bumblebee ink goes pretty, is pretty strong. There we go. It's a little bit higher, which I'm glad about that, because then the designer series paper will go up on top of that. And then the one on the top corner, I'm going to focus on getting the bottom here. And we'll stamp this off twice. And then stamp a little bit of the corner in the top upper right hand corner. So then it's just got just a light whisper of color in there for and it'll be enough so that you can still see through it, and it won't interfere with any message that you want to write on the inside of the card. So close up that Bumblebee ink, and I'm going to go ahead and get the die for this, and we'll die cut this out. Now, as you look at the die here, one of the things that I noticed is that there's one set of petals that has got a really long, really long petal, edge of the petal, and that goes with one of these guys. Now I can't seem to find it. Oh, right here. There it is, right there. So so that's the way you want to line it up. And then you've got a pretty good line. It's pretty well aligned like that. So I'm going to take this over to my die cutting machine, and I'll be right back. Cut it out. Okay. Everything's there. So here we are. So this when I cut it out, this is just a little bit more of a border on this side. So it was just cut a little bit crooked, but I think it's going to be okay, especially because it's going to be pretty much covered by the overlay, the beautiful die cut, and that the overlay is done with this one, and it's kind of an outline die. Hi, Chi. Thank you very much for joining me. This is the overlay die that cuts an outline. And so then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put this one aside, and I'm going to go ahead and assemble this. And I've already pre-cut the overlay, and I cut this out of Bumblebee cardstock. There's so many little pieces to pull out, and then especially these little dots on the inside, that can take some time. So so I went ahead and I pre-cut this. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this guy onto the flower with dimensionals so that it pops up a little bit. And this is where having your dimensionals cut in half, because you just need a little bit of height to it. And it really, I guess, I don't know. Well, everything else is flat on the card, so it's good to have, I think, a little bit of dimension to it. I think that's probably good enough. And then this is the center, and you can see how that center is pretty plain. So that's why I tried to do the other thing. But we'll show you the other thing that we another solution for that. But I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals on the back of this guy too, and we'll put this on the on top of the flower. Okay, here's my flower. All right, so this is going to be like this, and the first thing I'm going to do is put the overlay. And with the overlay, again, you've got, now these things are not going to line up perfectly, but you've got the long outer petal thing right here. So pull off the, hopefully I'm staying in the camera view here. Pull off the backs of the dimensionals and line up those long edges. This is the long edge here, and this is the long edge right here. So just line those up. See that it's kind of on the center, and then just let it stay. So it's just got a little bit of a dimension, and then these things just kind of flop around, and you just want to be careful that because they are thin, and so you don't want to accidentally break them or fold them. But it's pretty nice. Ooh, this is really sticky. So let's put this on the inside, and just kind of on the inside. There we go. Okay. So this little piece, I think it needs a cover, but I'm never quite sure whether that goes on the outside or the inside. All right, so let's see here. The next thing we're going to do is start to assemble our main panel. And this is where I have a Bumblebee mat, and I'm just going to adhere this Forever Flowers DSP strip to it. This is so pretty, and the colors that I'm using for today's card are really use a lot of the new in colors with the Misty Moonlight and the Cinnamon Cider and the Bumblebee. And I'm really loving the new in colors. I think this new Stampin' Up! Catalog is just wonderful. They seem to get better every year, which is just not disappointing at all. And then I'm going to adhere this just to the top of, and this is the Misty Moonlight, and this is the wood grain of the new in color DSPs, the little 6x6 DSP packs. And then this has got just like a typewriter font written, and it looks like it's got just a bunch of love things on top of that are written. So this is the in color, the new in color DSP, and they have this also for the old in colors and for all of the different colors, the neutrals and the brights and the subtles, for all of the different Stampin' Up! Colors. Which this is just a nice little background that gives you some texture for just if you want to have a background of different colors for your card and stuff. And I think that for this one I wanted to use the wood grain because I think that it goes with the outdoorsy feel of the card. And then I have my card base is one of these kinds of card bases as opposed to the long ones, 5.5 by 8.5, and this is out of the Cinnamon Cider. And so I'm going to adhere this card front, that the layered panel, and I'm going to just adhere this directly to the Cinnamon Cider, and put it with adhere it to the adhering with multi-purpose liquid glue. And the flowers are just so happy, so happy. Line it up, and then shift it around as I need to. There. So that's the card base, and I think these colors, the Misty Moonlight and the Cinnamon Cider and the Just Jade and Misty Moonlight Bumblebee, all of them, they just go so well together. Okay, before we put our flower on, let's put the leaves together. Now, in my sample card, I used Mossy Meadow on the leaves, but I think I should have used Shaded Spruce. So on this card, I've cut out the outline leaves in Shaded Spruce. And what I did with this is I had used the Just Jade ink, and I stamped this leaf on the Just Jade. I used Just Jade ink to stamp this leaf on Just Jade cardstock. So this is a tone-on-tone look. And I think that I was looking for a darker cardstock to go with it. And at first I thought I was using Shaded Spruce, but it turned out to be Bermuda Bay, which just didn't go well. So now I realized my mistake this morning. So I said, you know, I'm going to try it with Just Jade, with Shaded Spruce, and it worked out real well. The Shaded Spruce and the Just Jade seem to work out so well together. So let's put this on, and we'll do the other leaves. So even though this has got the stamped image on it, the overlay really just adds a little bit of something, just like with this guy here. The overlay. That's why this is such a great set. Add our ink here, because you get the stamped image, and you get some texture with that, and then you've got the overlay dies. And you know, the stamped image by itself, when you color it, that's gorgeous too. That's just gorgeous too. So this is a great set. Plus you have the little flower, which the little flower stamp with its little leaves, and that's really nice. Put that on. Getting glue all over my fingers here. Everything is sticky. And then there. And I think that looks better than the Mossy Meadow leaves, the Mossy Meadow outline. See, these are the leaves with the Mossy Meadow, and these are the leaves with the Shaded Spruce. I think it looks just a little bit, a little more unified. But I think that with this kind of a look, anything really goes with it. I'm really surprised. So I'm laying my leaves out in with 2 on the bottom and 1 on the top like this, and just want to kind of have everything going towards the center. And we'll put the flower center right there. That looks okay. So I'll go ahead and adhere all of these down with some more liquid glue. So most everything on this card is pretty flat, and it's just the flower center, and then you'll see also with the greeting that will pop up, and then the bow. The bow will add a little bit of thickness to the card too. I'm sorry, I haven't been paying attention to the comments, and I see that Amy said that she loves the paper pack, the flower paper pack. I at first wasn't sure that I was going to like it, but I really do like it. It's a great one. I think there's just so many great things in this catalog. So many great things in this catalog. It's just really... Let's let that guy go way up there. Okay. All right, now let's add these little guys. Now these are the these spriggy dies that also come in the dot with the die set. I think this is called the sunflower dies. These are these spriggy things. So I just cut these out of Whisper White, and I decided I would just get a little bit of white that's I want to lay them out like this, so that they kind of show against the Misty Moonlight. So I'll put some glue on the back here. Let's get that leaf back there too. There we go. Okay. And then have it kind of coming out this way. Push you up. Let you catch that right there. Good. There. So they're kind of like sprayed out like that. Now, this guy will also just put some liquid glue kind of around the center. Hopefully I'm in the camera still. Okay, good. And then we'll put this guy on. I guess these leaves could have come down a little bit more. So press that down. There we go. Okay. So then this is the label that I created, and I used the Let's Celebrate You sentiment. And what I did, I really love these, but for me they're hard to do, where you cut the where you stamp the sentiment on a dark background, and then you make it. Oh, hi, Roz. Hi, Connie. Thank you guys for joining me. I just saw you there. This is where you where you have the dark background, either black or brown, and then you put white embossed greeting on top of it, and then you have to fussy cut it. I think maybe there might be other ways where people can cut them out, but I fussy cut this, and I don't think I did a very good job with it, but you know what? It still looks, I like it better than having having a big flag, because especially with this, you've got a lot of space for the Y and the L and the B, the tops there, that make it so that you have to have a lot of space, that you have to figure out what you're going to do with the background there, whether you're going to stamp it or add a couple of extra little jewels. I just always have trouble figuring out. So I really like this, but this is kind of hard to do. So I went ahead and I did it ahead of time, where I just stamped it in Versamark, put white embossing powder on it, and then heat set that, and then did the fussy cutting around it. So I like that effect, and I just need to practice that a little bit more. And then what I want to do is I'm going to use glue dots. I'm going to put this across the top here, and I'm going to use glue dots over here to hold it down, and then put dimensionals on from the A down to hold that down, so that will be raised a little bit. So I'm going to put my dimensionals on here, there. Yeah, that I could put one right here like that. Oh, that's a little. I'm going to cut this down a little bit more, and that's the other thing about it, is that it needs to be. There needs to be really skinny little pieces of dimensional, but this one can go right there, and then We'll put this one right here. I think that's good enough. That's on the T. And then we'll add some mini glue dots on this end. I'm going to put 2 of them right there and stretch it out a little bit so that it doesn't go over the end. Oops. Just use my pokey tool. I think I've got glue all over my tweezers, and so it's making a mess of everything. There we go. Now, and then the biggest thing that you want to do, so you see that it's right on top of this section here. Oh, I forgot to pull the backs of my dimensionals off. Let's get this little one. I had 3 little pieces on here. So there's 1. And there's 2. And then 1 more. There's 3. Okay. And then just make sure that you got it kind of straight. Yeah, I think that's good. And then press that down. And then it just stands there. Okay, so now then I made a little bow, and this is the Bumblebee Gingham ribbon. This is so pretty. And we'll attach that bow with another glue dot. And then our card front will be done. No, it won't be done because we still have to fix the inside of the thing there. So put this a little bit like that. That's good. Yeah, so it's not covering all of the sentiment there. And then, so my other solution for decorating the center part that ends up being kind of plain is to just use these little enamel dots. These are the in color enamel dots for the new in colors. Oops, and that one fell off. So I have to, there. So put there. Let's see if we can get this guy to stick back on. Sometimes the pokey tool pulls the embellishment off of its sticky backing. So just kind of scatter them around. Yeah, and that guy doesn't want to go back on. I'll just do 3. Oh, let's do 4. Let's do some surgery here. Let's see. We'll get one of these old sticky things and see if that will stick this this covering on back on the glue dot there. And then we've got the shiny. Come on. Well, his color is not quite as intense. I'll bring it up close to the camera and show you. So the color's not quite as intense as the others. Let's leave him off. See how he's kind of like white, so let's just leave him off, and we'll just go with 4. Or let's just put on a bumblebee. Does that look stupid? I don't know. Let's just leave it with that. Okay. So that's the front of the card. Now let's we've got the inside, let's just adhere the little strip of designer series paper to the bottom, and then we'll just do that with liquid glue, and we stamped the flowers there, and then we'll be done with the card. This stamp, I've seen it with some ultra modern looks with the sunflower, and this is, I guess, more of a farmhouse or country kind of style with all the different pattern papers and stuff. It's just really, it really is very, very versatile and goes with a lot of different styles, and other than just being a beautiful flower. So, and then the sentiments are pretty nice too. And it's nice when you've got sentiments that come with a stamp set. And then, of course, I love having the dies with it too. And there I went and stuck my finger in the glue again. Okay, and then we'll put this on the inside. There, that's, oops, that slipped. There we go. So there's our card. That's it. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you very much for joining me today. You know what? One of the things is I got messed up today. I thought that tomorrow was Father's Day, and that's why I'm doing this on Saturday instead of Sunday. But then I looked at my calendar, and Father's Day is not till next week. So I'm going to skip next week for my video, and then I will return the following week on Sunday at my normal time at 1 o'clock. Thank you again for joining me, and I hope that you like this card, and I hope that you enjoy this stamp set. Bye-bye.